Or what? We are live. I'm broadcasting from my office in Bakersfield, California. We've got Paul visiting Iowa today, and as usual, Jason coming out of Omaha. Okay, guys, we don't want to. We want to start off this great Ohio State show with. See if I can get this up here. There we go. Our Scentsy products. Terry, but see, Paul, I'm not good. This is why I let you do this. Scentsys by Terry is where you sponsors us, and you can order this. This is the NFL. Oh no, this is Gridiron Rush, and it just really, as I say, it just smells like a manly shower smell when you come out. Right now, I've got kind of an orange cinnamon thing going on right now today. Don't know if we can get it in the background or not. I have my burner back here, my warmer. It's sorry guys, my wife's interrupting the live show. Okay, it's my San Francisco 49er warmer band there, burning some nice smells for us today. You can get those at Terry, Scentsys by Terry, and we just really appreciate that she actually takes the time to sponsor this. She's also a moderator on our admin on our Facebook group, Iowa Hawkeye Sports, and does a lot of work there for us too.
Does
So
she
I
have the Denver Broncos? Like, is it all NFL teams?
yeah, I'm sure
Oh,
she has the Broncos if you want it.
okay.
We can get she can get you one, dude.
All right.
I had an Iowa Hawkeye one, but they gave up on college ones.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, guys, we're here today to talk about Ohio State game. Of course, I got up early enough that I was able to watch the end of the 2009 game where we looked really halfway decent until the overtime, and then Ohio State came after us, and we pretty much kept going backwards instead of even didn't even have a chance to kick a field goal. And of course, Ohio State kicks a field goal, wins the game, wins the Big Ten title, and wins the right to go to the playoffs. Right?
I believe
Yep.
that was the game that we sat on the ball at the end and chose to go to overtime rather than trying to win at the end.
That was absolutely correct, but the way it was edited, you would never know that. Okay. Yeah, and then the game we probably just completed was the Woodshed game. Everybody remembers. Um, you know, it would be nice if we could have another Woodshed game, but I mean, it's going to be a Woodshed game as far as I'm concerned, but it's not going to be Iowa on the winning side, I'm afraid. But it would be nice if everything in the gods and everything just went right, and we just found a way to win that. Ohio State would come in overconfident, overcoached, and wouldn't it be nice? I mean, because those things happen once in a while, but not enough for Iowa. I don't know if there's a lot to say about Ohio State except that in every phase of the game they're better than we are. They've got more talent than we are. They got all the 4 and 5 star recruits. They just reload every year. They've got a really good quarterback. They got good receivers. They got a good running back. Got some good defensive people. Their defense has gotten better. Unfortunately, they chose this year to improve their defense. I wish they would have waited another year. So, that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my two guys who are my experts. Go for it, Paul.
I don't have a lot of good analysis for this. I think our best shot for a win is legs, right? Uh, like they said in Rocky, about a fighter and his legs. So perhaps maybe we send over the Iowa cheerleading squad, see if we can dehydrate the Ohio State players. That gives us our best chance at a win. I've got nothing else. I mean, I hope we can keep it, in the same in the same solar system, and just,
Okay.
Jason, you got anything you can add to that?
I got a lot more than that.
All right, let's go for it.
we don't. I'm not going to talk about no cheerleaders. But no. But I see this actually being in the same area as the Michigan score. But we're talking about Ohio State's defense when they haven't played anybody, right? So we really don't know if they're better. We don't know if they're that much better. So I don't think they're as good as Michigan's defense is. Their offense, I think, is better than Michigan's because they can do both, where Michigan can pretty much just run the ball. But I still see this like a 35-14 type game. So I would take Iowa in the points because all the money is being poured on on Ohio State. So I think it's actually up to like 30.5 now. So, but that's crazy to me. That's just the overreaction to everything because of how bad our offense is. But it's weird that at Iowa, everything is all gauged around their offense.
I think
There's a lot of teams who have a good offense who have the worst defense. I mean, but that doesn't count. It's the silliest thing in my eyes how Iowa gets knocked because they don't have an offense, but then you have a team like Tennessee who won a game 52-49 in regulation. They haven't stopped anybody. I mean, to me, it just makes absolutely no sense because you can have a great defense and have a bad offense and still win ball games. I mean, and you can have a great offense and have a bad defense and still lose ball games, right? I mean, it's just silly. I mean, Alabama's the one that who gave up 52 points to Tennessee, but they scored 49. Their offense was good. Their defense is terrible, right? So I have this game only because Ohio State hasn't really played anybody to have any facts on how good their defense is. I still think Michigan's defense is better than Ohio State's. But I mean, obviously, I think Ohio State will score more. Like that's why I said 35. I'd give them 35-14 type of game. But I could totally see Iowa shut them down in the red zone as well. I mean, they're going to get their yards. They're going to get 500 yards of offense because they're going to be untouchable in between the 20s, in my opinion. But once they get down the red zone is where I think they'll struggle, just like Michigan did. So they're not going to get those big plays against Iowa. So they're going to use the clock themselves. I have a feeling Iowa's going to do that cover 2 man under defense. That's my feeling, which I want to see them blitz a little bit. You got to do something to throw the quarterback off, regardless. But I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of that cover 2 man under, which means the 2 safeties are going to be deep to take away any big plays. So, yeah, that's my take. We don't know what Ohio State's defense is yet, in my opinion. And we're not going to know this week either.
Yeah, I like that, and we won't know this week.
No.
Little slam against our offense again. I guess we resigned ourselves that our offense isn't going to improve. It is what it is for this year.
What's the upside, Dean?
Huh? Not as long as they stick with the same quarterback. We don't know what it'd be like with something different. They won't try it.
What's the upside?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's silly to stick with the same quarterback when you see all the wide open receivers. And why does Laporta get the opportunity to drop all those passes? Why not put Lachey in? Lachey don't drop passes.
Right.
So I don't understand a lot of things because there is times where Spencer puts it on Laporta and he drops it. He drops it more than any other receiver. Now, granted, he gets the most targets too, right?
Right.
But Lachey, in my opinion, is playing better than Laporta.
Well, see, that's the problem, Jason. Our offense is very complicated and sophisticated. Yes. And maybe it's just something you won't understand. But Laporta gives us the best chance to win.
So, Paul, I don't know if you had a chance to watch Kirk Ferentz's presser this week. but I swear he sat in and watched this show on Monday and used all your lines.
No, I didn't get a chance. But that are you telling me that I pegged KF pretty good after?
I think
23
you
years?
nailed it. I think you nailed it.
What that
you know, that's why we were laughing so hard, because you were nailing it.
what that tells you though is how every press conference is the same, right?
Mhm.
Right.
It doesn't matter what's going on. I mean, every press, regardless if we're winning, losing,
Well,
Kirk is just going to do the same.
as much as I would love to think that the coaches sit there and watch our show and take our advice, that they don't give it the time of day. I don't know. I don't think they probably watch anybody's show. All these Hawkeye podcasts out there, they probably don't watch any,
No.
including Chad Lysico, who they love.
They can't though.
I don't know. Chad's asking the tough questions now, boys. He's asking the tough ones now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't when you're a coach and listen to other people rag on you.
I know it. You got to shut that out. You have to shut that out, and you want your players to shut it out. And you got to wonder if this would have been the year to reban Twitter for his players, so that Spencer was able to shut out all the noise.
Well, just tell Spencer. Just tell Spencer to do it. If he did, his family should tell him.
Yeah. You notice he wasn't available for interviews this week, so I guess they didn't want to put any more pressure on the boy.
Well, this week would have been weird. We would have known the answers to every question already. I mean, there's no reason to put him out there this week. There was nothing to really talk about that we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
But okay, so watching the last two games, the Vandenberg game in 2009, that should have been that was CJ's year that he got hurt, right? That was the year that
Stanzi.
That was Stanzi. Okay, Stanzi. Okay, so there's no doubt in my mind if Stanzi hadn't gotten hurt. You okay? You fell.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That we would have won the Big Ten title and the right to go to the playoffs that year. It's too bad. It's too bad. But I noticed a couple of things about that team that parallels this team. They didn't have a lot going on in the wide receivers that year.
True.
They were using the tight end. What was his name that year?
Doozy.
No. He spent most of his career Fedorowicz. He spent most of his career at Iowa hurt. They were using him and easily a lot for pass catching. And the running backs were Robinson and
it was probably Moyaki at times.
James Butler. I think was Moyaki. I think Moyaki was there. I think that he was on his last year or there or something.
No, his last year was 2010. You just watched the game. The running backs were Adam Robinson and
Brandon
Wager.
Was Wager still in there? Was he still part of the team? Wasn't, but okay, but they were calling Butler's name. I don't remember seeing. Huh?
In 2009, they were both true freshmen.
Okay, all right. Okay,
James Butler didn't come along until 2017.
All right. Okay, so in comparison, it didn't seem like, which is probably explains the record that they had that year, that Stanzi didn't have a lot to work with, except that he did have a decent line. It appears he had a decent line protecting him. And then this year, rewatching the Woodshed game, I've forgotten how good Eklund Wadley was. Oh, God, we miss that guy. That guy was all over the place in the Ohio State game. And watching Stanley throw the ball, he'd roll out, he'd throw, he'd make accurate passes. He even when he was under pressure, he would make an accurate pass, but it'd be on the receiver, would drop it. But his passes were there. They were there. The only time they weren't there is when he intentionally did not put it there. And during that game. And so, but Eklund Wadley, and this is the game that we had famously started using our two tight end sets with Noah Fant and Hawkinson.
Yeah, they had 5. He had 5 touchdown passes that game.
Yeah.
The tight ends had 4 of them.
Yeah.
5 touchdown passes in a game? Thrown passes? I don't think we have 5 touchdown passes this season.
Well,
5 in a game.
to give you a little insight, Petrus hasn't thrown as many touchdowns as Nate Stanley did his sophomore year in his whole career. Petrus has 22 touchdowns in 2.5 years. Stanley threw 26 his sophomore year.
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't understand or realize how bad the frustration is with Brian and Spencer until I got here in Iowa. And let me tell you guys, from just talking to people and stuff, there's this whole thing about Iowa nice.
Not
They wouldn't-
happening. Not happening now.
They wouldn't piss on those guys if they were on fire.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I found out the same as you did, Paul, and you're even closer to Iowa City than I was when I was there. But the one thing I found is the fans weren't only pissing on Iowa and everything that was going on; they were pissing on Iowa State too, because they were angry with Iowa State for not winning either. And they were, the Iowa State fans were all over Iowa State. The only thing that they like about the season so far is they beat Iowa.
Well, Iowa beat
in a
themselves.
game that Iowa State knows they were lucky to win.
Yeah.
Are you still getting that air traffic control stuff?
No, I'm not getting anything today.
I'm getting it, and it feels like the only time that I hear it is when I talk. Like I can hear it now.
Really?
But
You're
when you guys, but when you guys talk, I don't get it.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug my thing and.
He does
negative
it
Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
He does it mid sentence. I think I'm gonna unplug. Like I don't know. Mine's weird.
No.
Dean's fans are gonna love this.
Oh man.
There we go.
Hey.
Oh my god, this show. This show's going off the rails already.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, look, I think we've all pretty much decided at this point, like you were saying earlier, Dean, this one's probably not going to go our way. And, coming into the season, even the most positive thinking Hawkeye fans kind of had this one penned in as a loss. So, sometimes you got to take your medicine, right? So,
right. There's for many preseason Hawkeye fans had this one as our first loss of the season.
I just implore Iowa fans to appreciate that we won 10 games last year, and and have been highly successful. Probably, our wins above recruiting and things like that. When tomorrow's going to be ugly, but don't let that jade your view of the last 23 years.
Okay. So we don't want any moral victories, but do you think that this would be okay this one time to have a moral victory tomorrow? Like maybe losing overtime or actually see some life in the offense, like thinking, wow, we might be able to go on to Northwestern and clobber them.
I mean, that would be the moral victory to see some offense.
Yeah, just to make a good showing would be a good thing. Because I think whether Iowa plays terribly and loses badly, or Iowa plays well and only slightly loses, this game's going to be remembered for a long time as either a game where, as bad as Iowa had a chance in the end, or kind of like that 2009 game, or it's going to really go off the rails bad, and Ohio State will cover. And boy, I'll be glad that I'm flying out of Iowa on Monday because the fire and pitchforks will be coming out.
Well, they'll already be out before you leave on Saturday, so don't worry about it. Yeah. They'll be out on Saturday. Actually, that might be a good time to listen to Sound Off on WHO.
The funnier part is, God forbid something happens and Iowa pulls the upset of all upsets. There's going to be.
I love it.
There's going to be people that call into that post-game show and be like, "Fire Brian Ferentz," because it's all they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jason, that takes me back to many, many years ago when I used to coach girls soccer team, and I coached an elite level soccer team, and I built the team around to where the defense created our offense, and it's like, and so that reading that shirt, it just reminds me because I was not very many coaches in soccer were doing that at the time, and I had something special going, and so yeah. I always believed in that. Defense will create your offense as long as you play a good, solid defense.
I know nothing about soccer. There's no huddles in soccer.
No, the clock just keeps running. There's no timeouts either. They just keeps running. Oh, I learned it on the fly. I learned it as an assistant coach one year on my daughter's team, and then the next year I got stuck being head coach, and I think we lost our first 3 out of 4 games before I started figuring out, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then we won 3 out of our last 4.
I refuse to give 2 hours of my life away for for a game that could end in a 0-0 tie. Just no. No.
Well, I know you guys aren't interested in this is an Ohio State preview game, but the women's soccer team, who's having an awful year in soccer this year, did upset Northwestern, number 13th ranked Northwestern in soccer last night. And so now they have.
I care about everything Iowa.
What?
I care about everything Iowa.
I know. Yeah. Me too.
There's nothing better than a good game of kick the can.
Yeah. Now that I'm retired, I wish I would have retired to Iowa City so I could go to all the games. Just basically live in Kinnick Stadium, live in Carver Hawkeye Arena, live at the football field, not the football, but the baseball field, or what is it called, Banks Field. Yep. I don't know what the women call their softball field, and their soccer field was really underdeveloped the last time I went to a soccer game, but they've really changed that since I've been there, and that was a long time ago when I went to their soccer game.
That Big Ten Network money comes in handy.
It does. Why do you think UCLA and USC are in a hurry to get here? Not making any money in the Pac-12.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Well, just kind of like off the subject a little bit. I mean, because, I think we're exhausting our possibilities with Ohio State here. UCLA, if we keep divisions, UCLA and USC will probably become our West Division teams. Which one of our West Division team has to make the jump over to the East side in order to balance it out? I know which team I'm thinking it will be, and I hope it will be. But what do you guys think?
Purdue.
Yeah, that gives them that Indiana-Purdue rivalry back.
Right. God, would I love for Purdue to get out of the West Division and go to the East side? That would be so fun.
Got to play them at some point.
I know it. But you know what? With more teams, it'll be less times when they show up. They promised to come up with a schedule to where things like Iowa not playing Ohio State for 9 years won't ever happen again.
But we'll gain USC, which is the rich man's Purdue.
Guys, as long as my health holds up, I'm kind of looking forward to games in Los Angeles involving the Hawkeyes. I would hope that we'd play at least one of them every year in Los Angeles. Maybe every other, but I know that won't happen. But it would be nice. And how many games go, especially with the Rose Bowl? I've never actually been to the actual Rose Bowl when it was called the Rose Bowl. but I would love to go to the Rose Bowl because that's where UCLA has their home games and watch Iowa play there. And I can just say, oh, I finally made it.
Right?
Although Pasadena is not an easy drive.
Mm.
It's probably about 3.5 hours.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get you just get right into LA, and then you got to head east for an hour, a couple hours.
They make planes.
Oh yeah, they don't fly into Pasadena from Bakersfield.
Oh,
You know, I could go to LA, and I suppose, and maybe they'll helicopter me over. I don't know.
Yeah.
The closest we could get would be Burbank. So
I don't know anything about California, so
yeah. Well, this is
Let's
my
get
second
started.
go around. This is my second go around in California, so I understand it. You think we've bored everybody enough now?
yeah. Let's get to the picks.
Let's do it.
All right, all right. Okay. Well, first of all, should I just pencil everybody in for Ohio State this week? Okay. All righty. Okay. All right. Let's get to some of these cool games. But I try to find the ones that this is probably why we had losing record last week. It's because I find these ones that are going to be tough to call. We've got Mississippi State at Alabama.
That's not tough. Alabama.
Hmm?
Alabama.
Bama.
Bama. Both of you. Okay, I took
Roll
Bama.
Tide.
Too. I took Bama.
I mean,
too.
I'm gonna root my butt off for the Fighting Pirates, but
That's right.
I don't know if they'll have enough.
How about Syracuse at Clemson? I took Clemson.
Clemson
Yeah.
at home.
I got Clemson as well.
Okay, here's one that two teams I thought would have a better season than they're having. Texas at Oklahoma. Is this the Red River Shootout?
Didn't they already play that?
Yeah,
Well,
it was
I'm wondering what.
49-0.
Yeah, let's cross that off. I came up as a game that's being played. Must have been Oklahoma State or something.
As I say, could it be Oklahoma?
Oklahoma
State?
State's playing Texas, and I have Texas as my lock of the week. So
Okay.
obviously, I'm going with Texas.
I guess I better go with Texas too.
I'm
'Cause
taking
that's what's
OSU. I got OSU. Okay. UCLA at Oregon.
Quack,
See,
quack,
this is what'd you say, Quack?
quack.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. And actually, I have people who keep asking me questions about this game. I know some pros do have UCLA as their lock. And every time I don't pick, what happened? Every time I don't pick UCLA or whatever, their physicality shows up.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with UCLA.
I'm picking UCLA too. We'll come back to Paul when he gets back on the air.
Sorry about
Paul?
that.
Okay, Paul, UCLA or Oregon?
I'm taking Oregon. The game's in Eugene. Give me Oregon.
He said
Okay.
quack quack.
Yeah, you did. That's true. Okay, Minnesota at PSU, Penn State.
Oh, this is a no-brainer. Penn State, whiteout night.
Penn State.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Again, maybe these games are easier than I thought. Well, here's one's going to be a little tougher. Maybe not. Purdue at Wisconsin.
Well, I'm gonna pick. You know what? I'm gonna go with Wisconsin because we need Wisconsin to win that game. Obviously,
Right.
This game smells to me like Purdue do. And, when you have something that smells like Purdue do, what you really need is some Scentsy, right? You need some wax, some air freshener, stuff like that. So give me some Purdue do up in Madison.
You guys are so funny. Okay, wait a minute.
you got him all lost. He's googling Purdue. Do
Oh yeah. All right. I just realized I didn't have Terry's by Sensei's banner up the whole show. How come you guys
she's
didn't
gonna
tell me?
whip your-
I have a
she's
question.
gonna whip you.
When Iowa beats Purdue this year, will that be a Brahmacide?
Maybe.
Oh. So after Ohio State thrashing, we play Northwestern. Who's up next after that? Purdue.
Yeah.
Probably Purdue. Do. Yeah,
Purdue.
is.
Do. Then it's either Wisconsin or Minnesota.
that's how it goes.
And then the other one, and then Nebraska to finish the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
expecting Iowa to finish the season. I'm expecting Iowa to go 5-0 the rest of the way.
Me too.
Pardon?
You see?
Let's do
Did
it.
you see when I wrote that on there? People tell me I was dreaming. They were nice about it, so I didn't delete anybody's comment. But they told me I was dreaming.
I didn't see it. Did you do it on your page?
Yeah, I thought I put it on yours too.
I'll have to go look. I'll have to go look at it. How long
Yeah.
ago?
The day before yesterday.
Mm.
It's
All
quite
right.
lengthy. There's a lot of comments there, but I noticed that
Okay.
neither of you guys commented. So
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Are we all done with the picks then?
we are. I didn't want to pick too many. I didn't
Okay.
want our losing record to be too big. No, actually, a lot of the other games are pretty easy.
Yeah.
Easy picks. I didn't, and judging by the way we picked these games, apparently these are easier than I thought. I thought we'd have a little more mix up here. So, separate. So the only thing that happens is Paul gets a little closer to us because he's the only one that went against the grain.
That's it.
if Paul wins his games.
No,
Well, mathematically, he has to.
that's it.
Yeah.
Fellas, I need to drop off of here. I don't know if you want to just finish this up or what, but that's why I kind of disappeared for a moment. I've got to kind of get something.
Yeah, I mean, we're done, right?
We're done. We're done. Yeah. Why don't we go ahead? Shortest broadcast we've had in a long time.
Yeah. But maybe that'll draw in more viewers. Actually,
Yeah.
it's easier to watch a 30-minute video than an hour-long video. So,
It is.
It's easier to make it 30 minutes when you're playing Ohio State.
that's true. Not a lot of analysis to be had here, is there?
No, there's not. But you know what? We actually had 2 viewers today, which is it's been 0 lately. And honestly, last time I looked, I think we had 175 views on our last video. So after some disappointing views, that's kind of encouraging.
Yeah.
Put this dude's comment up there.
What's his
Did
comment?
you see this dude's comment? Paul's got to read it too.
I'm putting it up there.
I like it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, my
watched some
God.
tape of Padilla and doesn't want him in the game. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil Parker Paw. Whoever that is. Phil
Yeah,
Parker's
Phil.
Paw.
All right,
Actually-
fellas. Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed that. Okay, let's get out of here, guys.
Yeah, enjoy the bloodbath tomorrow, and you guys will be back Monday, maybe with a special guest. Is that a
I'm
possibility?
hunting for a third special guest. I've got one. I've asked one, and I'm waiting for her to respond. And if she doesn't, I'll figure out something else.
All right. Well,
All
you
right.
guys enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
You
Okay.
too, Paul. Stay sober.
Yeah,
Paul.
not
Bye.
happening.
Fly safe.
Bye.